going on, everybody? Welcome back to Bone Apple Tea. This is your host, Randy Baruso, and today I sit down with Chavon Hampton, and we talk about all the things that she's amazing at. That would be acting, singing, dancing, and more. All the awesome and really cool things that she's been able to do in her life that she'll like to try and gloss over. But don't worry, I stop her and we talk about it. This was a really fun interview for me. I think it'll be for you too. Don't forget, if you're watching the video on YouTube, give a little like, give a little comment. Tell me what you're thinking. You know, if you're on Audio Mac, I want to see a little discussion going on. Don't forget to subscribe. Tell your friends about it. Helps the show out a lot. All right. And without further ado, enjoy. It's great to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And it's, I heard about you first from Isaiah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how did you meet Isaiah?
Isaiah and I actually go way back to high school, however many years ago that was.
Oh, wow.
Like almost 10 years. We used to dance together at ECA in New Haven.
Yeah, he can dance.
Oh, Isaiah's amazing.
Yeah, and it's funny because, he kind of has like a calm personality,
Yeah.
you know, like he's really like calm, smooth. And then I saw a video of him dancing.
Yeah.
And he's like blowing the stage up.
Yeah, he's like a black belt in karate as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Another thing where I was
he's
like,
full of surprises.
Yeah. So you guys met through dance in high school.
Yep. So we choreographed a piece together for our high school program. And I mean, everyone kind of just went berserk over it. So ever since then, we started dancing at my dad's church and doing any other events that happened in New Haven.
Yeah.
And, people really gravitated toward us because we had such a great energy together.
Yeah.
And then of course we both went our several ways because of college and life and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then we kind of rekindled after I moved back here for COVID. And he was like, hey, I have a short film that I want you to get in on. And we just started brainstorming about it. And it was just like the dynamic duel's back.
Oh, so, that's awesome.
He's really cool.
So how long, now with the acting thing, how long have you been doing that for?
I've been acting since kindergarten.
Oh, so, that's great. That's great. Like plays and stuff like that?
Yeah. So actually my first play ever was at the Yale Repertory Theater in New Haven. And I was in kindergarten.
Wow.
And it's funny because I wasn't even auditioning. My sister was auditioning. But the casting director came out in the hallway and saw me interacting with my mom and stuff. And she was like, how old is she? And my mom was way too young. Mm-hmm. And then I ended up getting the role.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
And I just looked at my mom and I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. And she's like, you don't know that yet. And I was like, I do.
I do know.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, so when you did Clotilda, and which, by the way, Isaiah, you owe me a copy.
I got you.
Yeah, I think I told you it's going to be a part of the short film fest. Did you end up getting a ticket?
And Mystic, yeah?
Yeah. Did you end up getting one?
No, not yet.
Okay, you should get one.
We're waiting to see if the edit is going to be ready.
Yeah, well, it's going to be.
Okay, great. So then I'll get on that.
Yeah, because we actually sold out of the 80-seater.
Oh.
So all 80 seats were sold. So I actually had to upgrade us to the largest theater that they have at the cinema.
So grab my tickets ASAP.
Yes,
Got it.
yes. And so it's the 120-seater.
Yeah.
And I think I've already sold 20 or 30 tickets.
That's amazing.
So we're about to sell out again.
Okay.
So I think
I'm on it.
Maybe even after. Well, I should ask him though, because he said he bought 4 tickets already.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's him, you,
Drew, and
maybe someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll ask him probably tomorrow. Well, actually, I'm going to see him tonight after this. So
okay,
I'll ask him about that. If not, I'm going to get on those tickets ASAP.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be great. So I'm
excited.
I got a whole red carpet. I got a backdrop that has my company and the festival logo and stuff. I got hired a photographer. So guys going to be snapping pictures and stuff like that. And so I'm so excited to see your film.
I'm excited to see the film.
So you've seen the trailer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen several different versions of the trailer, and I'm really excited.
Yeah. Now, is there a lot of dialogue or any dialogue, or how's it work?
So actually, we just talked about adding more dialogue, kind of like a narrator.
Like a voiceover type thing.
Right, a voiceover type thing, just to add another element to it. So we're kind of just waiting for the edit to come back so we can start to build those elements and kind of finalize everything.
Okay.
But as of now, there's some dialogue, but it's just inspirational speeches and quotes from leaders and things like that from the past and stuff like that. Things from Black Lives Matter movement, things from other podcasts, just anything that's relevant to the film. But I think we're going to do a in-house voiceover. So it'll be me and Drew. And then I think Isaiah may hop on some.
Oh.
So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that. That's really creative. I'm super curious to see, because if he owes me a copy, I'm curious how much if you guys are gonna be hopping on that voiceover. Talk about last minute. All right, that's great though. That's great. Yeah, it's gonna be really cool to actually see it. So what was it like prepping for Clotilda? Because like I know it's not like a straightforward piece. And I feel like sometimes people, when they think about acting, they think like the first thing someone will say is, oh, I don't know if I could memorize all those lines.
Yeah.
And like oftentimes for me, that's like the easier part.
Easiest thing, yeah.
It's like because, and I think people get this confused too, is that like people forget that tonality and feeling is everything. You know, you can say I hate you and it mean I love you. And I think we all know what that feels like when you're on a date and you're like, oh, I hate you. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. And so how was it prepping for this? Because it seems like it was a lot more like emotion, feeling, looks.
It was a lot. It was kind of emotionally draining at some points. Being that there is no lines, I really just had to make sure that I embody the character in the correct light at the correct time. Especially with things where like it would cause for like a tear to flow down. Like it would have to fall down at the right time. Or like if we do multiple takes, I have to be able to channel that every single time. Or like there's some scenes where, not to give too much away, but there's like some fighting scenes where it's really just like about aggression, but you're still crying, but it's not the same type of tear as the last tear.
Right.
And you kind of don't have that dialogue to back that up.
Yeah.
So it was more so just like a lot of internal work and trusting my co-star. Because we had to make sure that we were in the right energy. And like, obviously we don't mean any of the animosity that's in the film toward each other.
Yeah,
but it was like really apologetic. That's like, you know, if anything happens, like, I'm sorry. And we kind of just had to like say, like, we're not going to say sorry anymore. Like, we know why we're here.
Yep.
And whatever happens. Like, as long as we're all safe, then it's all good.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a challenge for me. Because every other project I've ever worked on had dialogue.
Right.
So it kind of gave me some type of substance. But this one was more so just like, connecting to it spiritually.
Yeah.
Rather than just reading the words and trying to figure out how to deliver it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a really interesting challenge. I had a sort of similar thing, but it's more towards the end of the film, but there's dialogue being said to me. So at least there's still something for me to bounce off of.
Right, you have to react to.
Yeah. And so if you're there reacting to just
silence.
And hey, like this is the scene.
Yeah.
That's tough.
And like also there obviously will be music behind it when it comes together, but like it's just like complete silence. And like everyone's just looking at you and you see like the crew members and you see Isaiah with the camera and then you just see your film partner and you're like, own it. Like I have to focus. I have to get in the zone.
Yeah.
What would Clotilda do?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's super exciting. And like, it's just one of those things where, no one really fully understands what it's like to be in that position unless you're there.
Right.
You know?
It's very vulnerable.
Yeah. And I feel like a big part of acting is being okay with like messing up in front of everyone.
Absolutely.
And having the director come over and be like, yes, but.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah.
Like, I shoot for those. I'm always like, okay, let's knock out the nose now. That way we can kind of just like take bits and pieces and then we can create this giant yes.
Yeah.
I'm always just like, I'm not going to apologize, but like, I know this isn't going to be the one, but I got to get it out.
Yeah. That's great. Now, how was working with Isaiah for a short film? Because I got to work with him on a music video and it was great. Now, you said it was kind of like getting the gang back together. Yeah. Is that kind of the...
With choreography, it's different because we kind of just like follow our bodies. And the way that Isaiah and I work together is that I trust him. Right. So like if he were to ever like pick me up or anything, my body just goes with it.
Right.
But to like see him like behind the camera, he kind of did the work for us behind the scenes first and then spelled it out. So Isaiah is very much, he's very organized and he prepares for everything ahead of time. That way, if you have any questions or any type of input, he's very much accepting. Everyone's on the same page.
Right.
So working with him on the short film wasn't as easy as dancing because like it's all on me. But it was it was still comfortable because even sometimes when Isaiah's like, I need you directly on this mark at this moment. And I'm like a smidge off. He's not the type that's like, oh my gosh, Chavon, like what the heck? Yeah. He's just like, okay, let's find a leaf. Let's place it because like, just like you said, we have time intervals. We got to get this together. Yeah. But he was just very honest and open. Like he's very accepting. He would ask me like, are you good? Like how you feeling? Do you need to give this part a break? Should we go to a different part?
Wow, that's really good because
yeah.
not everyone is like that in terms of
No.
like understanding you as a human and knowing the
Right.
places that you have to take yourself to
Right.
get to that moment in that scene.
Right. And it helped because I was in the early developmental stages with him. So we both kind of chimed in ideas and like X'd out some things and said, okay, let's take it in this direction. Because at one point we were like, well, who exactly are we trying to reach?
Right.
Because there's so many different ways that film can be interpreted or taken. And we're like, okay, we don't want to step on any toes, but like we want to get a message across.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
Right.
So it was really fun. It was fun,
awesome.
challenging, and now it's just like a big
yeah, because all that work is, at least your end of things is set.
It's for the most part finished.
Yeah, except these voiceovers. Voiceover work's fun though. I love
voiceovers.
You know what's great about voiceovers is you can have a whole phrase, and I'm sure your brother knows this about producing, is that you can have a whole phrase and then you say it again and then you chop up the bits that you like from one section and use the other section and you craft like this perfect voiceover.
Yep, that you took like 15 times.
Yeah. So there's definitely an element to that that's like, okay, it's a little bit easier,
right.
You know? Now, was Clotilda your first short film?
It was my first film.
Hey,
it was my first starring role in a film.
Okay, so what were the other ones you worked on?
So I do like a lot of commercials. I'm a theater kid, so I do like a lot of live theater.
Right.
Where it's like you got one chance, and if you mess up, you just got to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no cut.
Yeah. There's no cut.
Yeah.
But I mean, in comparison to the commercials, it's a little bit different because with Isaiah, I know him personally. So, like, when I'm shooting a commercial or anything, it's just like, okay, this is the guy that hired me. I'm grateful. And he's kind of just giving me the direction and expecting me to deliver exactly what he imagines. But yeah, it's my first short film. It won't be my last. I have a couple more coming up.
Nice.
I can't talk about, but stay tuned.
Ooh, this is exciting.
Yeah.
That's great. Now, so I won't probe you about the new stuff, even though I'm excited to see what's up.
One's with Isaiah. I can say that. With Isaiah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, he said, I saw a picture. He got like more lights. And I was like, ooh, and he's like, and I was like, hey, and he was like, yo, bro, we got to get together and shoot like a short scene. I was like, that'd be great. I'd love to do, because like, you know, as actors, like it's all about them clips,
right?
You know, like when you're on Actors Access, it's really nice to be able to reach and be like, oh, this is a comedy clip, this is a whatever clip,
absolutely.
You know? And so
get a little reel going.
Yeah, and I feel like it would be pretty straightforward to do, to like write like a short, like 1-2 page scene, shoot it, cut it. That's it.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's just about coming up with a script that's like actually good.
That part.
Yeah.
Especially since it's so small.
Yeah, it's so
like
small.
It has to be really good.
Yeah, and you want, like, you know, you want it to, there's the whole, have you ever read Save the Cat? It's like
I have not.
Okay, it's a screenwriting book.
Okay.
But
Save the Cat.
Yeah, and it's free on Audible, which is cool because I drive a lot, so you know, it's like
you just listen to it.
Yeah, and so one of the things about it that I thought was really interesting is, so it's how you write movies, but from an actor's perspective, is it kind of gives you an insight into what the writer's thinking about while they're writing what you're going to say. And so one of the biggest things that they say is that every scene should start either at a positive or a negative, and by the end of it does a flip. So every scene has a negative or positive start and ends at a positive or negative depending on how it is. Now, if you get really complex, you can go connect scenes together. So it's like positive, negative, negative, positive, positive, negative, and they do all these crazy things.
Yeah.
But I think what this helps is, like, if you are going to write your own scene, you can use some of these, like, okay, we start positive, we end negative, and there's a switch somewhere in between. Where's the switch? Why is it compelling?
Right.
So I feel like we could just do stuff like that, but it's, it's hard.
It's complex.
It's writing, it's like a whole
not
different thing.
Impossible though.
Yeah, definitely not. So when it comes to dancing,
yes.
You said you've been doing that forever too.
I have been dancing since kindergarten as well.
And now you have this, I think it's called the Dazzling Dolls?
I do have the Dazzling Dolls.
So what's that about? You got tryouts tomorrow, I think, right?
I do.
Did a little homework. Didn't want to come to this completely.
Dazzling Dolls is... Okay, so it's a fusion of majorette and I'll explain what majorette is because I kind of saw your eyes go like, what's majorette?
It's like, yes. I know dancing.
So there's 2 coaches. There's Coach Angelique McDowell and myself.
Okay.
And basically it's a fusion of technical dance. So kind of like lyrical, modern. And we throw a little ballet in there because, I mean, ballet is the root of every style of dance.
Okay. Good for me to know.
And then
I'm going to start anywhere.
Learning something new.
Yeah.
And so majorette is kind of like an HBCU base, like the girls that dance with the band. So there's like flag girls and then there's the stand girls. We focus more so like on the stand girls and the field show girls.
Okay.
So we want them to do like competitions and stuff. It's a high school team.
Okay.
But we are open to middle schoolers as well. And we go to the age of 19.
Okay.
So after like freshmen in college or whatever.
Right. That's kind of like the cutoff.
Right.
Okay.
Right. We're based at Amistad High School. But you don't have to go to Amistad High School.
Okay.
To be a part of Dazzling Dolls.
Very cool.
And we kind of just do like all the Freddie Fixer parades and the there's a holiday in March that I should know. St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, there you go. I was like, even I was like, what?
Right, I was like,
It's because I'm not Irish. I was like,
Right. I was like, something slipping my mind.
Although, like, for whatever reason, just like if you're white, it's just like St. Patrick's Day is my holiday too.
Let's drink.
Yeah.
We probably shouldn't say that.
Nah, we're good.
No, it's kind of like an enrichment after school program. So it's completely free for the kids. The only thing that they would have to pay for, if anything, is like any new costumes or new shoes or like new tights or, you know, such sort of things. Personal things like makeup and things like that.
Okay.
But the program is for the youth to have an escape. Right. So like we go to school, some people are dealing with things at home and they just don't have a safe space where they can just kind of express themselves and be free. So that's the environment that we go to create for with the Dazzling Dolls.
That's amazing.
As well as teaching them, because we both have extensive resumes. So it's just like we can give back to the community in that way through the kids to kind of help develop the next generation of artists.
That's really cool.
Thanks.
And so it seems like it kind of functions like an after school type program.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome.
We go from 3 to 5, Monday through Wednesday.
Wow. And so now you said you mostly do like these parades and stuff.
Right.
And you said competitions.
Yes.
So what are the competitions even like? Like how do you?
So when you're in the majorette community, it's kind of just like a dance studio. So when you go to a dance studio, you guys have like stars, you have kids for kids, you have like all these competitions that everyone dancing in the same genre kind of goes to. So the majorette competitions are based all over. Like it's a whole nationwide thing. So you may have a competition in Buffalo, you can have a competition in Texas, you can have a competition in Florida. So some of the categories that they have is like a creative trio. So it'll be 3 dancers and it can be any genre of dance within majorette-ish. And then they have what's called a field show, which would basically be like developing your own little halftime show.
Oh, okay.
Right, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And then they have what's called stand battle. So you have these like miniature competition dances that are like maybe a minute and a half. And it's kind of like a battle. Like a battle of the squads.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like you come to the center and you battle a team, and then the winner advances, and then you battle the winner of that one and the winner, and then you get the final overall.
So just real quick with that, are you planning out specific routines for each round with the assumption that you make it through?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And if you don't make it to the next round, everything else that you practice, you don't have to do.
Oh, okay.
But the goal is to definitely win. Yes.
And the goal is to get to that finish line.
Right.
Okay. Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And how big are like these events? Like, is it like
they get pretty big. Due to COVID, some of the competitions are capping at 10 because a team can go from like 15 to 70.
Whoa.
So like, yeah, they get really big. So cause some have like bands and they bring like steel drum lines and stuff like that. So it's like,
that almost
okay,
doesn't
wait a
seem
minute.
fair for like the crew that only has like people in it. You know?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can have all that stuff and I'll be good.
That's true too. That's like more bells and whistles, but it's like, you know.
It's a nice little extra feature, but I mean, the judges are still pretty fair about focusing on the dance and why we're there.
Okay.
So it's just like an extra little touch.
Okay.
I mean, we have a little steel drum line too. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good though.
Yeah.
Oh.
But no, they get pretty big. I've judged one before and it was probably one of the hardest things I've had to judge.
Wow.
Because it's just like everyone's so creative in a different way. It's like, how do you compare this person's creativity to this person's creativity and say like one is better than the other?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I guess you start just like looking at like
technicality.
Like if they're messing up
relevance,
or stuff. Like
synchronization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that's got to be tough too because with dance, there's a lot going on. I mean,
there's a lot.
At least like outside looking in, like I'm not a dancer, but like when I watch people dance, like
you're amazed.
Yeah.
And sometimes I can look at a dance and be like, You guys definitely missed the hand count of that 3. And you're a half beat behind the music, but that's okay.
It's all right. It looked good.
Yeah.
Wow. And so, and the wonderful thing is, you never stop with how many talents you got. So you got the acting, you got the dancing, and I see you're a singer. And
I am a singer.
What's kind of funny is today I was just, I'm doing a little research on you, so the last minute stuff.
Who
so
am I talking to today?
Yeah. And so I think I might have liked the post from like 2016 or something.
It's okay. I saw.
I was like, wow, she's amazing at singing. And then I was like, oh shit, that was like her first post. All right.
It's okay.
But yeah, so you're an amazing singer too. How long have you been singing?
I have been singing since kindergarten.
Wow. Dude, kindergarten was revolutionary for you.
Listen, kindergarten was my discovery time where I was like, I know where my life is going.
Wow.
Which is so bizarre because people like are in college and still don't have that revelation. But I feel like, as an artist, you kind of have to tone in early because you have so much training to do.
Yeah.
But my dad's a pastor. So as a PK, we kind of had to run the show a little bit. So my mom was a singer. That means like we had to lead the choir and I had to be a part of every choir.
Wow.
But it only helped feed my artistry since I loved to do it so much.
Yeah.
It was pretty much like free vocal training.
Yeah.
And so my mom vocally trained me. Yeah.
From like, no wonder why you're so good.
My mom was my vocal coach from elementary school all the way to high school. And then in high school, when I went to ECA with Isaiah, I did a voice elective. So I got another vocal coach. And then when I went to college for performing arts, I got another vocal coach. And they were just like, oh, you pretty much already know this stuff. And I was like, yeah, my mom trained me.
Wow.
Like I kind of do this.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. I was late to the game with singing. I was in high school. I think I was like a sophomore.
Okay.
And I just had this like dream of being like, I want to just be able to sing. Like, you start getting into girls and stuff. And I was like, oh, like, maybe I can sing someday.
You wanted to sway them with your voice.
Yeah. But the problem was I sucked at singing. So like, I remember.
Auto-tune, dude. Auto-tune.
Yeah, that's right. It saves everybody. Doesn't save feeling though. That's that's one thing a lot of these guys and gals out here are missing out on is like, they might be like, oh, I can recover with perfect pitch. And it's like, but I don't believe what you're saying.
Right. I don't feel anything.
I don't feel it. And I interviewed, there's this artist that's local to New Haven called Black Picasso. And
Black Picasso?
You might actually know him because Isaiah filmed one of his music videos.
What's his real name?
Vaughn.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
I was like, Black Picasso, I know I follow him on Instagram, but
yeah. Because it was him and Dimitri had that song Already.
Yes.
That they did. They've done a bunch of stuff together, but that was like the one that Isaiah filmed, and it was like, whoa, that was like Isaiah's. I think he just got the new camera or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, my point is that he said you got to put some pain on it.
Yeah.
And ever since he said that, I was like, yeah.
Gotta have some type of hurt.
Yeah.
Whether it be like I stubbed my toe hurt or like she said Delta Brom.
Yeah. And but yeah, I think that's like that's a tangent, but that's definitely one thing I think, it's like even if you're going to leverage the pitch correction, at least lean into the pain or the feeling and emotion a little bit and let correction help you. But if you put nothing there, it's gonna sound really flat.
Yeah. I have friends that kind of struggle with that. And there's like, believe it or not, it's kind of like a cheat, but it is what it is. There's breathing exercises that can like kind of put you in that vulnerable place. And I learned that in college. Ooh. Because like with being in live theater, like you have to cry every night on the same point every night. Yeah. So it's like eventually that one thought becomes numbing. Yeah. So you're just like, okay, I'm kind of over that. So like they have breathing exercises that just naturally put you in this vulnerable state. And can like channel that pain. Well,
I want to learn these breathing exercises.
I got you.
Yeah, because like that's like super helpful.
Yeah,
it's like for my short film, I have this moment where I'm supposed to break down, but not all the way. So getting
half breaks are the worst.
Yeah, like getting to that moment where. Like the director said, water in your eyes, but not a tear to fall.
Right.
And that was really tough. And I had a lot of prep work, but I think that there might have been a more efficient way to get there.
Breathing.
Yeah. And
your breath.
Yeah, like it sounds like breathing probably would have been
absolutely
really helpful. But back to like, so I was a sophomore in high school and I had a study hall that was in the choir room. And so the choir teacher was there.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, there's tons of other people there.
Right.
And so I walked up to her, I was like, hey, like, can you teach me how to sing? And she's like, yeah. And she just sits on the piano. She's like, all right. And I was like,
Oh.
Like we're in a room with other people and I like knew I wasn't good.
And you just got like a full on voice lesson.
Yeah. And she was just like, all right, like, here we go. And like, she was like, she starts playing and like, she's like, okay, so you got some work to do. You know,
she said that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's rude, but honest.
But honest, and
but
like
the honesty.
You need it. I remember before that I had sung for a friend of mine. I was like, hey, like, what do you think? And he's like, you know, dude, I think you're a little tone deaf. You know, like, and I was like, I was crushed at the time. I was like, no, not that.
I trusted you.
Yeah, and he's like, but at the same time, it's like it's what I needed to hear. Yeah, it's like I don't want someone telling me I'm good at something,
and you're absolutely not.
And then I'm ass, and then I go and try and do it in front of someone else, and they're like, dude,
who lied to you? Get new friends.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess I'm blessed to have people that are honest.
Absolutely, me too.
So for
blatantly honest.
Yeah. So for about 3 months, I was in that room singing like crap in front of people. And she would just have me learn new songs and new songs and just try my best. And one day she hit a piano note. She's just like, just try and match the note. And all of a sudden it was like, ah, and like it matched up. And I was like, oh, and you know, you hear the unison. Yeah. And she was like, hey, that's it. And it clicked. Yeah. And so, but you know, still a lot of work since then. And I definitely could use some practice. But I think it's like one of those things where I think people think because they can't do it initially, they think they'll never be able to do it. Right. It's like you might not be, you know, Adele, but like you can make a better version of yourself.
Yeah, you can train your ear just like you can train your body to do anything else.
Yeah. And so, and I definitely think there is something to like, you know, someone who has it or has the voice, right? Like, because I think there's a lot of people that try to be like Drake, for example, but they don't got Drake's voice. Right. You know, I mean, that's like a huge part of why he's so successful is just how he sounds on the microphone. Now, when it comes to singing, have you used that for anything, like obviously in theater, I imagine, right? Now, do you do anything else with it? Are you like making your own album? We're going to have like something coming out? What's
it's
going on?
Funny that everyone just keeps harping on the same thing at the same time. So a lot of my friends, being that I have a gospel background, like, I don't know, gospel is like one of the hardest genres to sing because it's so true. Like you have to have, like what you said, feeling behind it. It has to be honest. Yeah. And so I kind of like get this like growl like from deep down on my stomach where you think it's like, oh shoot, like that little girl has a big voice. Like I always hear that. But I can't finish a song. Oh. So I would like definitely need a ghostwriter. And also, I don't know, I feel like me being my 27-year-old self, which is probably bad, I shouldn't say this, but it's like my truth. I'm just like, what are the odds of me becoming like an established recording artist right now? So I kind of use it as a thing of like, okay, well, if you know that I sing, then you know that I sing. So like if someone asks me to hop on a track that's like, you know, coming out for like a music video or if their album or a short film or anything, okay, cool, yeah, I'll sing on it, no problem. Right. Or like, you know, Broadway shows or commercials or anything. They'll say, okay, well, can you sing?
Out Broadway shows okay, like that's nothing. What do you mean? Have you sang on Broadway shows
musicals, before? Yeah, that's musicals. I'm a theater kid.
But like you sang on a Broadway show before?
Well, actually, my Broadway show actually had no talking at all. Oh. It was an LED light show called Illuminate. Oh, and it was a hip hop dance crew.
You had that? Yeah. That's so cool. You tossed that out there like it was like you were going to pick up the stuff at the store and I got chicken and I got broccoli and I got Broadway and then I got
well, yeah, but I do all the touring Broadway shows. So like I've done Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I've done Memphis.
Hence that video of you singing.
Right. Okay. Right.
Okay.
So yeah, I dibble and dabble, but I've never really dabbled into the studio like recording an album.
Right, like trying to make your
literally all my friends and my brother have literally been down my throat about like, Chavon, why? Why not? Just try it. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Yeah. I'm just like, I don't know. I have half of a song recorded. Like, that's pretty bad.
Then maybe then instead of like an album, because album's really daunting, like just what about a single? You know? Oh, is it? See,
no cosigner.
No cosigner.
I mean, I'd be down for a single. I would definitely say that I could come up with like a hook in a verse. Yeah. So maybe I like feature someone.
Right.
little feature.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, who knows?
Little feature. Just a little feature.
Yeah, just, just someone.
Right.
Well,
just someone.
I mean, like, so my cousin, Joe Ego, Isaiah recorded his music video.
Oh.
I don't know if you saw it. It was
Is that
Feel
the one
Alive.
that kind of had like the vintage car and they were like in this mansion? It's oh, that's your cousin.
Yeah. And
that's
then,
amazing.
And maybe you noticed there was a really handsome gentleman in a blue suit in the beginning.
That was you.
That was me.
So you're doing the feature.
Yeah.
It's settled.
So I think like, there's definitely artists around. And I had on the show this guy Plumpy, and he's more EDM. Plumpy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I just had to make sure I heard correct.
Yes.
Gotcha.
He's Plumpy Beats on Instagram. But he's worked with Diplo.
Okay.
And he just did a remix for Zed's Dead. I don't know if you know him, but yeah. So he's pretty popular.
I was gonna say he's out there.
Yeah, in that space. And so I'm trying to get on him to make like a cool like summer record.
Okay.
That's more like EDM-ish, but because he does hip hop too. So.
Right.
But no, I got you in mind, girl. I got you in mind. Believe me.
I mean, if the phone call comes, I may or may not say no.
Yeah. Of course, it has to be right. I understand that it's got to be a good fit and like, you got to feel it out. But I definitely have a lot of people that like to use the studio that are definitely interested in having like, especially female
vocalists.
And female vocalists too, because like, I think there's something about a female vocal when you're pairing it with a male vocal.
Right.
You get this.
Just hits a little harder.
Yeah.
The contrast.
Yeah, exactly. The contrast. You get that really, top end stuff.
I'd be open to that.
Yeah.
Kind of break that shell.
I like that. There we go. and that way, look it's only a chorus or two,
Right. Now see, that I can do.
Right.
That's a piece of cake. Like that I can do. That makes me comfortable.
Yeah.
It's like when they're like, okay, give me a song. And you're like, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, well, how about you give me a script?
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Writing lyrics, though.
Yeah. Oh.
So hard.
Because it can be like something that's so true to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you like put it out there and people are like, oh, that sucks. And you're like, that took a lot of time.
Yeah,
like,
I know. I mean, it happens with all art, though, right? Is that like anyone can take something that you do and not understand that it took hours and hours and hours to prep and do and record or film or whatever, draw. And someone's just like, yeah.
And you're like, that's okay. Yeah. You're just one person. It's okay.
That's what I think of sometimes when people they criticize like major motion pictures, and I get it. Like there needs to be critics in the world,
right? There has to be.
But the funniest part is that like someone will watch something that took like millions and millions of dollars and be like, nah, I don't know if I really like the way the actor looked.
Her hair, her wig was a little bit, and it's like, that's what you saw?
That's what you saw?
That's what you saw? The wig?
I know. It's funny because I think there is this weird now especially with people like really being critical of stuff because I think there's so much out there that it's really easy to just be like, yeah, that wasn't that good.
Right. Compared to something that's complete opposite.
Yeah.
You're like, well, that was good. And you're like, that's a whole different genre, girl.
Yeah.
That's a thriller. This is a comedy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What?
Now, where do you want to kind of see yourself in terms of acting? Because there's like, you got the theater stuff.
Right.
It seems like you're kind of getting into the film.
I was about to say, I'm more so looking to segue kind of out of the musical theater world into the film just for longevity.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, I'm going to be honest, like I'm creeping up on 30. Like my body aches sometimes.
Girl, you're only 27. I am 1 year behind you. Don't you fucking pull this shit.
Like, no, but it's also like more promising because like as an artist, we kind of get so focused on our career that we kind of forget about like the other things in life, like, family and like a husband and getting married and having kids and like setting this thing up. And it's just
I didn't expect to be paranoid during this interview, but here I am. Now I'm questioning my life. Thank you, Chavon. Thank you.
But it's kind of like film is a little bit more lenient and a little promising. Like you shoot something over a shorter period of time for, what's the right word while I blurt this out there?
Like a longer, like it's more permanent. Like you can rewatch it.
Right,
you can,
right.
10 years down the line, it's gonna be the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just want something that's kind of gonna allow me to go away for a short period of times and then be able to come back. But then also like have the footage and have the reels and things. Because with live theater, you're not allowed to record.
Yeah.
So you can say you've done like all these shows and people are like, oh, do you have any footage? You're like, no.
No. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But also it's just like, it's faster. So like a commercial, you're on set for maybe 3 days, you make a couple grand.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, great. On to my next commercial, on to the next gig.
Yeah.
And with musical theater, when you're young, it's so fun to be like, oh yeah, I have 2 years of a job. And it's like, that's great.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I'm touring all across the country and I haven't seen my family in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just feel like it's a thing of like maturing. I'm just ready to kind of, I don't want to say like settle down and like segue, but I just want to have a little more leniency, a little bit more flexibility with my artistry. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it also kind of like, I feel like I personally like film a lot.
Yeah, I love film.
There's a whole other wall of creativity just based on angles and lighting that is like, you know, because you set the stage and you have the lighting and there's the theater can get very complex and whatnot. Right. But the ability to enhance a performance by just tightening up that shot,
bringing
it really close to the eyes, a little bit of
shadow, it just makes it that much more dramatic.
Yeah.
I love it. It forces you to be honest. Like. It just, I don't know. I kind of like the in close and personal things that kind of make you deal with yourself and like discover things about yourself that you're just like, well, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because it's like, you know, we're embodying a character, but a lot of those character elements we are, you know, driving through ourselves.
Right.
And so it's like you find out a lot about yourself
while
through
acting
the process.
like someone else.
Yeah. And you really learn about like what it would be like to be that other person because you have to really put yourself there.
Absolutely. And I love that.
Yeah. So now types of roles that you're looking for, like, you know, if you could like ideally, you know, I'll throw out there like a dream of mine is to be like Terry McGinnis from Batman Beyond. I would love to do like action stuff, you know, put me in a buddy cop movie with Mark Wahlberg. You know, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Stuff like that is kind of what I'm interested in, you know, dream long term. Where do you see yourself?
So 2 careers that I follow that I kind of see like as the same type is Keke Palmer and Anika Noni Rose. Obviously, Anika Noni Rose is a little bit more mature and a little older.
Yeah.
But I was introduced to her obviously through like Dreamgirls and stuff like that. But I sang one of her songs from Princess and the Frog. And I was like, holy cow, wait a minute. Like we're the same vocal type. So like anything that she did vocally, I would challenge myself to do. And I was like, wow, like we align. Like this is great. So I started following her career. Keke Palmer, she does like thriller. She does drama. She does comedy. She does random skits. But it's just like she has such a wide variety that I'm just like, that's exactly how I want my career to be. I don't want to be like just that girl that plays like the prostitute or like that's that one girl that always plays like a dancer role. Or like that one girl that's always just like the cool best friend. It's like, no, I can do all of that. I can play a mass murderer in action and be a superhero.
Yeah, that's right. Hell yeah. Yeah, you're in great shape too.
Oh,
I mean,
thanks.
I guess you kind of have to be to like do all the dancing shit that you do. So I was seeing you dancing and that looks like a goddamn workout in and of itself.
It is.
But I could totally see you in like a superhero role. That'd be sweet.
Thanks.
Marvel,
Say it again.
DC, let's go.
Louder, they can't hear you.
Chavon needs to be a superhero. They bring me along too.
It all started here.
Yeah, that's right. Marvel's listening to Bone Apple Tea.
Could you imagine?
Yeah. I know. It seems like a lot of people are getting into that. Seems to be like a really nice segue into other stuff.
It's a complicated field to film. Oh my god! It's a complicated field to get into because one of those things where it's just like they kind of already write these scripts for who they see to play the roles. So it's just like, okay, let's just cast all the extra little roles and the little feature roles, you know?
Yeah, around that person.
It's a comfort thing. It's like casting directors have their favorites and directors have their favorites.
Yeah.
So, you know, it can be very testing. But I mean, for me, every no is just like a push towards a yes.
Yeah.
Somehow it's just like, that just means you're not ready for me yet, and that's fine.
Yeah, you'll come back around. You know, 5 years from now, you're gonna be wishing you said yes.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool because the wonderful thing about film is that you really can be diverse. I know that there is a lot of typecasting that we see, but I think sometimes like what's an example of a typecast? Well, actually, Mark Wahlberg is a really good example where like, I mean, there was a meme floating around where it was like, oh, Boston, you know, cop with a drinking problem, and it was just him like running to the role. And
he'd actually probably play that too.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Yeah.
But I feel like to some extent it kind of makes sense because it's like if you make money with one film here, they're like, hey, can you? Because everything's money, right? Like you might think it's about like the artistry and like people being like pleased with the film.
It's still political sometimes.
It's very much about like the green. It's like you know, and I feel like you kind of see in the film industry now a lot of like they are trying to please certain crowds, not because they actually care,
but because they know that those crowds will support the box office and all that, and they'll put in the money.
Yes, they're like,
they'll buy the actual DVD.
Yes, it's like but it's good. I think there's good and bad with that.
Yeah, that's with everything though.
Yeah,
you gotta have the goods and the bads. They both help each other.
Yeah, don't mind me too. I know I've been like.
No, you see, I've been good about that.
Yeah, I've been watching you. You've been making good eye contact the whole time with even me, like still doing the whole camera thing. But it's crazy because like it seems like the where I want to be seems kind of far, but you never know like what role leads you to this person that gets you on. Now, you mentioned you did a lot of commercial stuff.
Yes.
And you mentioned like, oh yeah, a quick $1,000. And I was like, oh, this sounds like a pretty nice gig. Who are you shooting for? T-Mobile? Like, so what have you done commercials with?
I've done some commercials with Joshua's Concierge.
Okay.
I've done a commercial with what was the cooking one? This is bad. Yeah. I've done a Depends Active Fit commercial.
Hey, I want to see that. Did you have to wear Depends and shit?
I did.
Yes. Yes.
What else did I do?
Oh, it's not on.
I did
a Depends commercial.
Depends Active Fit.
Siobhan's just sitting there like, all right, can you do a cartwheel for us?
Right, just in the diaper.
Yep.
I did a Super Bowl commercial.
What?
Where it was like counting the calories of all the Super Bowl snacks.
What?
So like we were doing like bear crawls and like working out, but then like on the flip side we were like at a party eating chicken wings and it'll be like 315 calories. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
What was the commercial for? Was it like a MyFitnessPal?
It was ad? Yeah, it was kind of like just like the comedy of like football people who like sit around and eat a whole bunch of junk food. It was like trying to be funny, and it was a little funny, but some people were like, yeah, but that's what football is for. Yeah. It's like, no, you're supposed to laugh, not think.
Yeah, stop taking it too literally.
Right.
Yeah.
I did a couple fitness commercials. One for Lucille Roberts, which is like an all-women's gym based out of New York. And that was actually my first gig before graduation of college.
Oh, wow.
So I was just like, oh, shoot. Like, what the heck? This can really happen.
Yeah.
What else?
I feel like you need to be in a commercial where there are people dancing, right? Like that should be. Have you not been cast for that already?
You know, surprisingly, I don't really go out for those.
Really?
No.
I feel like just because you're so like you'd lean into the strengths a little bit, you know?
Nah. I kind of just leave that for the theater thing. Like everyone knows me as a dancer, actress, singer, and it's just like, yeah, but like I can also do this. Like I'm not just the dancer.
Okay.
I can't put myself in that bubble because it's very hard to get out of that once you're
in it. All right.
Right.
Okay. Like have people asked you to be in music videos and stuff?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I feel like that makes like, you know.
I did the Nickelodeon Halo Awards for 2 years with Nick Cannon. So
what?
I mean, I still did the whole music video-ish like award show background dancing thing.
What?
Which is super fun.
How old were you when that happened?
Ooh, how old am I now? 27. This was 2016, 2015.
Okay.
So very much still an adult.
Yeah. That was I'm trying to think. Because I was a 2013 high school graduate. So were you 2012 high school graduate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you would have been 21, I think.
21, 22.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Wow, and you got to do the Nickelodeon stuff, huh?
Yeah, we did the opening act and the big entrance with Nick Cannon and stuff. I do.
Wow, that's if you can, if it's easily accessible,
yeah,
I'd love to see that. I can send it to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll send you like pretty much all of these. They're like really, really short, and I can show you some on my phone too. But yeah,
that's so cool. See, like I feel like stuff like that, like you know, we don't even think about it because it's on TV, and we're like, wow, this really big event,
right?
But each one of the people on there had like an audition, and they had to practice and reherse, and there was this big thing. And
I did one with Skillshare where I was baking empanadas,
nice.
And that one aired on TV for a while. And it had been my first commercial in maybe 3 or 4 years because I lived in, oh God, here goes another like blah, blah, blah.
No, go for it.
I lived in Korea for a couple months and then I lived in Saudi Arabia for a couple months. So like I was was gone
Why?
for a period of time.
What
And then I came back. It was.
You can't see. I'm gonna pause this. You can't just be like, yeah, I lived in fucking.
Well, that's why I said here comes another like word vomit. Blah 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 blah.
I had lunch with the Dalai Lama. Anyway, back to what were you talking about?
But yeah, and then I like toured for a year and some change, and then COVID hit. So it was just like, interesting. And then I got the commercial, and I was just like, oh, back to commercial things. This is odd. But I did that one, and it aired on TV, and I was kind of like shocked because like I saw myself, and I kind of just froze, like, that's weird. And like it felt like it was my first commercial ever, and like everyone was calling my phone and like, oh my God, we just saw you, and I was like, on what channel? Just like I don't really know what to say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So once again, I'm not going to let you just gloss over like moving to different countries and stuff. Like, why? How come?
So I lived in Korea for 8 months because I was doing Dreamgirls, the musical. We were performing in Seoul. And we were based out of Itaewon, Korea, which is like, it's a city in Korea. Okay. In South Korea.
Yeah, I'm not going to know them.
Yeah. So, yeah. I just realized that. Yeah. I was like, it's just a small city in Korea.
Oh, yeah, Itaewon. Yeah.
Itaewon.
Go there all the time, family and
stuff. Great shopping.
Yeah. Good news.
No, I lived there for 8 months, and we were doing Dreamgirls. And I mean, that's pretty much the base of that. Like, I was over there performing, and it was a great experience. Very different culturally.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Great food. Oh my gosh, great food.
Yeah.
Like some of the best food I've ever tasted.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Now, is it like arrangement and spices, or like what kind of made it your favorite food?
I would just say like their ratio of like broth to vegetable to protein to carb. It's just like seamless. Like it's perfect. Like nothing comes in like family size or like huge, like big size. There's no large. Okay. Like it's just you want to drink. Like it's just a cup. Yep. That's it. There's no variations to the cup.
Yeah, especially, and you know what? At least they're being honest about it. You know, you go here and you get an XL and you can pour it into a medium.
Right. Like the idea of Costco would blow their mind. Like you buy things in bulk? Why?
What are you doing?
What do you do?
Why do you need that much? Yeah. Whatever. And then
everything was so like fresh, and it kind of just like altered my diet of like, you don't have to eat until you're full and feeling like, oh my God, my stomach hurts, can't eat anymore. Yeah. It's just like you just eat enough so that you have enough energy and nutrients to like go about your day. Yeah. And then when you get hungry, you eat again.
Right.
And that's that.
And it's not eating until you feel like you're going to throw up.
Right.
It's like just enough.
And the broth very much just like keeps you very like flushed out, and just it just keeps you light.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and their spices, oh my God. Before I went to Korea, I could handle like eating a jalapeno like an apple. Yeah. Like I just love spicy food. But that kimchi, oh man, when I tell you I came back and I would even smell cayenne pepper and I'm like, oh my God, my mouth hurts. Yeah. Like, it kind of just like burnt my taste buds.
Yeah, so they got spicy foods over there,
Oh, so spicy.
Wow.
Not everything.
Yeah, but you can. It's
right.
Like if you...
Especially being a spice girl, I'm like, oh, I can handle it. And then you're like sitting at the table like...
Getting to like crying a little bit. Yeah. Wow, so that's really cool. And then you said you went to Saudi Arabia. That's different.
I lived in Saudi Arabia for 5 months. And I was performing with a crew called Illuminate, which is also the show that we did on Broadway. Okay. And so basically it's an LED light company that they do storytelling through hip hop dance. Okay. So there's like B-boys, B-girls, break dancers. Like we have a character that's a modern dancer. We have a lyrical dancer, a ballet dancer. Like all the characters are different. Sure. And we went over there to kind of just like be an advocate for the change and kind of like, you know, say like, hey, I know you're shut out from the rest of the world, but like this is possible and it's okay. Yeah. Obviously it was
like, was that received well? Like I don't.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. You know, there's always going to be those rebels that love tradition.
Right.
But it was very much an eye opener to appreciate the little things, like being able to even speak or look you in the eye right now is a privilege.
Right.
Being able to be drive. Right. Now they're able to drive. That happened literally like 2 months after we left.
Yeah, that's
so we were like,
crazy.
We're just going to say we had something to do with that.
Yeah, that was us.
But it was very different. They're very spiritual in a sense of like prayer and religion. But like when it comes to social, it's kind of like, it's just very much arranged. Okay. So you have a mall but you have like a singles female mall, you have a single males mall, and then you have a family mall. Wow. So like single men and single women are never in the same place ever because marriages are arranged.
Wow.
So it's like you never have the opportunity of being like, oh, I think that guy is cute. Or like, I see this guy in school. No, you don't see any guy in school. It's like when your dad comes home and goes, hey, it's going to be your husband. It's going to be your husband.
Wow.
And we had to wear the whole get up. We had to wear the habayas and the hijabs and all of that stuff. So like you only saw our eyes. And like very much they prayed like, I want to say like 4 times a day where there was like a couple hours where everything just shut down.
Wow.
And was devoted to prayer. And there was a speaker where they did the prayer out loud. There was no motion. Like if you were in a taxi, you very much just better get off the taxi and get on your rug and just respect the religion and put the forehead to the mat and just, you didn't want to disturb their culture because whatever repercussions that they had also applied to us because we were on a visa. So it was just like, ooh, okay.
Yeah, that seems kind of crazy.
Yeah,
huh?
it seems crazy, but to them, we seem crazy.
Yeah, like
you're allowed to shop with guys? Like, that's disgusting.
What happens if you want to have sex with them?
You don't.
Yeah. It's like
don't even ask that question.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying
celibacy at its finest.
Yeah, and I'm saying in like their perspective, they must be like, well, if you see someone, how do you control yourself?
Yeah, well, our manager was from there and he was a local. And one thing that stuck with me that entire time and even still to this day is we asked like, why do the women have to wear all this stuff only in public? Because they have these stores where women can buy like regular clothes and stuff. And you're like, well, where are they wearing this to?
Right.
Inside the house, they're allowed to wear whatever they like.
Okay.
As soon as you get into public, you have to be head to toe covered because it's only for your husband. So for me, I was just like, okay, well, what are you buying clothes for if you're going to be in the house?
Yeah, you might as well just buy like sweatpants and a sweatshirt. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's so crazy.
Yeah, it was just very eye-opening because there was a moment where we allowed a female school and a male school backstage at the same time. Okay. Unbeknownst to us.
I didn't even.
Management allowed one other, and then, kind of like as the cast, we were like, oh yeah, guys, like come backstage and hang out with us. And there was kind of like this freezing point of like, uh-oh.
What did we do?
Wait a minute. And we took a picture, but we sat in the middle. So they weren't like touching, but like you can still see like the fear of like punishment from Allah of like breaking that rule of like seeing someone outside of the arranged marriage.
Yeah.
And like even we had to revamp the show a little bit because there are parts where like a female character, you'll see him in the lights, and a male character would touch to dance together, but you can't touch. So there very much were things where like we had to alter choreography and lifts and all that stuff because we didn't want to be disrespectful to their culture. But it's just like we also wanted to show a point of like, it's okay.
Right.
But like even back to what I was saying, what the guy said to me was that the women have to cover up because the guys can't control themselves.
Wow.
And I was just like, well, that's not fair. Like, what the heck? Like, I have to be hot in this 120-degree desert heat because you can't control your peen?
Yeah,
like, come on, dude.
Yeah, that's very much, that kind of thinking definitely wouldn't fly here. That's for damn sure.
Like, excuse me, you're joking, right? He's like, no, women are like Paris, look like on your arm. And I was just like, Chavon, you are not in America. Just say, interesting.
Oh, wow. Culture is different. Yeah.
Listen, because of myself, I wanted to be like, what did you just say? Do I look like a purse to you? You're just going to carry me on your arm? What? Do you know what I have to offer?
Oh, you can't control yourself, huh?
Oh, you can't control yourself, huh?
You fucking pig.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just a reality that they've kind of accepted. And
yeah, I wonder, like,
they look to us like gods. Like, some of the kids were like, how are you able to do this? Like, I love to sing, but I could never sing. And sometimes I sneak and sing in my room, but I want my dad to hear me.
Wow.
And it's just like, wow, we take for granted that we can literally wake up and do whatever we want, go after whatever industry or passion we want. We can follow our dreams.
Yeah, we have grocery stores
and start
full of
over.
Food,
right.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, okay. So it was very eye-opening. I was very, very much appreciative for America when I got back because, I was all about like, America, blah.
Yeah.
Trump, blah.
Yeah.
And then you go out there and you're like, okay, wait a minute. Let me reel it in. I'm forgetting about the little things, the little victories.
Yeah.
Like being able to wear, sandals. and show my toes.
Yeah.
Just want to show my toes.
Yeah. Go to a beach and wear a bathing suit.
Right, exactly.
You know, just like, and be you as much as you want. Like, of course, like, I think there's always the like, we can do better, right? But at the same token, like, I think there is a bit of a miss with some people with like how much we really do have, you know? And it's pretty cool.
And some people were all for it. Like, we had a resort like shut down for us, and we were able to like ride dirt bikes in the desert and like ride camels and also like and have a good time. And they were kind of like, you guys can take off your hijabs, like keep on your abaya, but like you can take it off your head and like just relax and have fun. So there were some people that were very much like, we support you. Yeah. Like, we understand.
We understand that, like, what we're doing seems crazy to you, even though we think you're crazy for...
It's like a fine, happy medium.
Yeah. I wonder if there's ever going to be some sort of reform or, like, you know, cry for, like...
Over time.
Right?
I mean, America once had a lot to get over, and, you know, here we are today.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
It wasn't even that long ago. I was talking about that with Isaiah. I was like, you know, the first Black woman to be integrated into a school is now just in her 60s.
Yeah. It's literally right there.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, kudos for them to being able to drive. That's the first step.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it doesn't matter how long it takes, but eventually they'll get there in their own comfort and, you know, their leadership and whatever. But
it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Actually, I got a DM from this Iranian guy who, he was asking like fitness advice. He was like, oh, like I want to know, like, you know, what you do. His English is a little broken, but I understood him.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, all right, so like, what do you have like access to? And I didn't even know he was from Iran. He's like, oh, well, in Iran, it's actually like really bad right now. Like, I don't really have a lot of food. It's the gyms are like missing equipment. It's like where I'm in a constant state of fear for my life. I was like, Jesus.
Right, yeah.
You're trying to still work out and get in shape. That's kind of talk about commitment, you know?
Okay, because I'd be like, forget the gym. Like, I'm trying to eat.
Yeah, I know. I was like, damn, dude.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's almost like it was tough for me to even try and like navigate the advice stuff because I was like, I don't really know like what you do and don't have.
Right.
You know? And, but yeah, stuff like that will make you really appreciate where you live.
Right. I mean, even with things like that, if anyone ever asks you like that, they can use like rice or flour, furniture.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
For like dumbbell work or whatever. Like, be resourceful, you know?
Now, I like the way you're thinking. Now, do you follow like a fitness routine? Are you in the gym? You weightlifting and stuff?
No.
No? Really?
No.
Not at all? You're saying no? Like,
no,
what was that?
I'm one of those unicorns that just like prays and hopes to God that I don't get fat because I love pasta. But most of it is honest to God, it's genetics.
Okay.
My family's genetics is ridiculous. Like, everyone is just ripped. Like, for no reason. No reason at all. Like, you're just like, wow, you're 75 and you look like a IFBB pro. Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And I mean, dancing keeps me conditioned, but I don't like the gym. I find it tedious.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, I guess it kind of is tedious.
Yeah. I respect anyone who's in the gym because I've tried it, and I'm just like, why am I sitting in this building lifting this heavy ass metal?
Yeah.
To then just leave.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just sitting in the mirror and I'm like, yeah, getting pumped. And it's just like, for me, I'm just like, no.
You'd rather do something else.
I'd literally rather go take a 7-hour dance class of like heavy cardio and like just get that tonnage.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm always that person. My friends are always like, how are you eating Doritos right now? And I'm just like, because I'm hungry. Like, what do you mean? So anytime anyone asks me like, are you a personal trainer? I'm like, no.
Yeah, I am actually legitimately surprised because I thought for sure you were going to be like, especially because you were just saying like, oh, you can use like furniture and stuff. I thought you got it all figured out, you know, and you've been.
I'm an artist. I mean, I did a lot of improv, so.
Wow. Well, that's really interesting. I'm always curious to see kind of like what people do with their fitness routines, but it kind of sounds like you're more so just like the dance is enough.
The Zumba, the dance, like I'm very much just a mover. Like it's just what works for me.
Nice. That's really cool. Yeah. I think it's funny. I got into the gym initially because my mom was into lifting weights and she was kind of like the first one to like introduce me to it back when I was like a teenager. But I keep with it because of the sort of, I mean, I like looking good, but also there's like the other benefits of just like my life is a little easier now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting to think about.
I saw some of your pictures. I was like, is he a fitness model? Is he a personal trainer? I was like, this dude's pretty ripped.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been lifting. So I think I first picked up a weight when I was like 13.
Oh, you started young.
Yeah, and I think I was on and off.
Mm-hmm.
I lost like all of my gains by the time I hit like 18 and I went to be a freshman in college. But as soon as I got to college and I was like, oh shit, that guy's jacked.
Yeah.
I got back in the gym and I haven't missed more than 2 weeks since then. So it's been about like 8 years going on 9 of just like more so 8. Yeah, 8 years of just like pure consistency.
So with COVID and stuff, are you still like in the gym and things?
Yeah.
So how did you manage when everything like shut down?
I have out there in the garage, there's a home gym.
Okay.
Yeah. So we actually, my roommate and I hopped on it. Actually, I should say he hopped on it super early. It was like January.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, I don't know about this shit. I have a feeling like stuff's going to happen. Like, we should just get like some weights.
So he started preparing. Right.
He got like all these weights and all this equipment for like what would have been like quadruple the price a month later.
For super cheap.
Yeah, because like everything just got like,
high demand.
Yeah, high demand. So that is what kept us working in that time frame. Otherwise, I don't know what I would have done.
Good for you. Rice, flour.
Water in buckets. Yeah. Yeah, but it's like I always like, and you got your thing with the dancing and stuff, but I always like to encourage just like some sort of activity, you know, because I think a lot of people underestimate how much they can do in a little amount of time very consistently.
Absolutely.
For years, as opposed to like people are like, oh, if I'm not like burning and sweating and then I'm not doing anything. And it's like, well, no, like that walk that you went for is actually really beneficial to you. Mm-hmm. But it might not shed 30 pounds in 30 days, but like
it'll keep you fit.
It'll keep you doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, when quarantine hit, what was like your, like, cause a lot of your dance stuff must have been affected, right?
Oh, everything was affected.
Yeah.
I actually, you're probably going to be a little disappointed and maybe shocked to hear this, but like, I went hardcore gamer. Like, I was a hardcore gamer during quarantine.
Wow. What were you playing?
Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. No, not disappointed. I play video games all the time.
Call of Duty.
Yeah. That's so cool.
What else was I playing? There was like this alien shooting game, UFC, like, I don't know. I was just like, well, I never got the opportunity to play video games, so like, why not?
Yeah, when you're
and no one's going to judge me because it's just like, well, what else are we going to do?
I guess there are probably people that are out there judging, but I guess I'm just like such a video game player that when someone says they play video games, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, who says that that's lame?
Right. I mean, I started taking classes like online because some of my friends in New York, like they were stuck in their apartments. Right. So they would like promote like, hey guys, I'm just going to like have a short little combo today from this time to this time. And so like I dance at home and stuff. But then most of the time I'm just like, what to do?
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to play video games. Why? Because I never did and now I can.
Yeah. Do you find that now things are sort of winding down that you're still playing?
No, I don't have time. I don't have time anymore.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Things are open. And it's very much packed. Hitting hard.
I think we're pretty much there. I really do.
Yeah.
I saw Europe. I don't know. Did you see the news about Europe?
Oh,
they
as of recently?
Yeah, like they lifted their mask mandate. They lifted everything.
We very much are not there yet.
Yeah, They went like, all right, screw it. They just ripped the lid off.
No, thank you.
Yeah, you think we'll take a little more time than that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Especially with this like Omicron thing. Hashtag Omarion thing. Like everyone's calling like the Omarion variant.
Wait, is there another one? I mean, there's always going to be another variant,
There's
right?
always going to be another one.
Yeah.
I think it's just more so like people having the hope in the vaccine and like people getting sick on the vaccine. I just feel like once they figure out what the heck we're actually dealing with, and like take the time to actually study it and figure out how it spreads and stuff and like how people can be very highly contagious and some people can be like not even having any symptoms but be highly contagious and not know it.
Let's talk about the people with no symptoms for a second. Because and let me tell you why. Not to get sciencey.
Yeah.
But let me there's a little bit of a like, oh, I didn't have any symptoms. Their nose tilts up a little bit. They're looking down on you like you're some
it's like, so then how did you know that you had it?
oh, well, I just got tested. And, I didn't have symptoms. It's because I'm the genetic masterpiece. That's why. I get that little air from everyone that's because I had it. And it was a rough, 3 days.
Oh.
This was in 2021. Yeah, earlier in 2021.
Last year, okay.
Yeah. And, I remember getting sick. I work as a structural engineer, so I'm on just a laptop working from home, really. Mm-hmm. And I remember just staring at my laptop being like, oh no, I feel terrible.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'll sleep it off, and woke up the next day even worse. And I was like, uh-oh. And me and my roommate were like, great, I think this is it.
Yeah, and now's our time.
Yeah, we got tested positive and everything. But it was rough for 3 days. Did you have it at all?
I actually am a very strange case.
Okay.
Because in 2019, in June, I was on tour with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and it was 3 days before my birthday. We got to Arizona, and I was deathly ill. I couldn't move. I had the sweats. I was cold. I was hot. I would go to throw up, and it'd be nothing at all. No type of fluid, no nothing. I was dehydrated, but I couldn't keep food down. I was I can't smell. I can't taste. And so I went to urgent care in Arizona, and they're like, oh, you have bronchitis. And I was like, this very much is not bronchitis, but okay. So I took the antibiotics. A week went by, and I was just it feels like it's getting worse.
Yeah, nothing changed.
Right. So what I did is I just told my tour manager, I had to go home. Because I literally can feel myself dying. I cannot pick myself up.
Yeah.
So luckily I had two great friends on tour that were my roommates, and they helped me pack my bag, and I took a flight home, and I went to the doctor or whatever, and they're like, we don't really know what it is, but we're going to treat it as a really intense cold, and maybe you might have a little bit of bronchitis going on or whatever. And then a couple months after that, it was oh, Corona. And I was like, Art? Who's Corona? Because she's been here.
Yeah.
I had this a long time ago.
Shit, did you ever get tested for antibodies and stuff?
I didn't. But I was just those are all the exact symptoms that I had.
The taste and smell thing is very indicative.
Heavily. Yeah, and when I tell you I was dizzy, the room was always spinning. And it was I was freezing, but I was sweating. And I was just this is just very much not right. At first I thought I had pneumonia or something.
Yeah.
And then there was one time where my entire house tested positive, and I had been around them all the time. And then I went and tested, and they were like, oh, you're negative. And I was just like, how is that possible? We're together literally 24/7.
Yeah.
And oh, well, maybe you had it before already. And I was like, okay, but I know people still to this day that have caught it multiple times.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, all right, well, keep praying and keep my mask on. And
yeah. Well,
it's
definitely
very different.
That's really, and where were you when you started getting the symptoms?
I was in Arizona.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You said
I was in Tempe, Arizona.
Because I was trying to piece together. I was like, oh, is this when she was in Korea? But no, because that was a while ago when you were in Korea.
It was a while ago. Huh. And that's the first introduction to masks that I ever had, because while we were in Korea, the air is so polluted that if you're not from there, you're not used to inhaling it, it can get you sick.
Really?
So even in Korea, they highly encourage, just they made us Dream Girls masks and everything. And it was so strange to us. We're like, why are we walking around with masks on? It's so weird. Yeah. And now it's literally the norm.
Yeah. So, that is weird to think about. Also, so the air quality is so bad that...
Oh, they call it smog.
Yeah.
So the sun never actually gets through, so it's never really that hot. But it's just all the pollution from China and all the surrounding major
cars and stuff like that.
Right, exactly. So it's always cloudy.
Yeah, I feel if anything, I know there's a big debate with electric cars and whether they're better than gas or whatever.
Right.
My thought is that at least with an electric car, there's no gas being emitted into the air.
Yeah.
So it should be sort of similar to how when COVID first hit, how everyone had to stop driving and stuff, and all of a sudden the air quality quadrupled in how good it was.
Right.
I think that electric cars are going to really help cities for that reason.
Okay.
Totally different tangent.
Absolutely.
But just my thought on just holy crap, maybe we'll actually see something good there.
Yeah.
Well, we're kind of all over the place, but I do kind of want to sort of end on a nice smooth sailing thing here. So, what are you looking forward to most this year? If you've got anything, and whatever, you can't talk about it, but we'll start there.
I'm mostly looking forward to these two next films that I'm going to get ready to work on, because I'm also starring in them. So it'll be wow, in this one year, I produced 3 starring films. And
oh, so disappointing.
It's kind of just like this pivot in my life where I've always been like afraid to like not work in theater. But with COVID and stuff, it like forced me to. So this year I'm just really looking forward to owning in on it and giving it all the same amount of energy and training and practice, just like I did the live theater. And, you know, just like networking more, meeting people like yourself and like having people like Isaiah in my corner.
Yes.
And I'm just excited for whatever that I don't even know is about to come.
Yeah. No,
So,
I think 2022 is going to be a really good year.
Yeah, I can feel it. It's going to be a great year.
Yeah. All right. Well, and then before we go, social medias or anything, if they want to contact you or anything like that?
Everything is Chavon Hampton. Facebook is Chavon Hampton with a C. Instagram is Chavon Hampton. I don't have Twitter because I can't keep up.
Yeah, Twitter
and yeah, that's pretty much it. Just Instagram and Facebook.
All right. Sweet. Well, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And I guess we'll probably end up hanging out again during the premiere.
Oh yeah, during the premiere and when I start recording those vocals.
That's right. Damn right. All right, everybody.
Thank you.
See ya. Thanks so much for listening to Bone Apple Tea. If you like the show, please give us a follow, like, comment, subscribe, whatever it is. Tell your friends about it. And make sure to follow us on Instagram. That's Bone Apple Tea, BoneAppleTeav on Instagram. Thanks so much.